we do need to discuss the SEC's bowl record, not against itself. The SEC has 2 bowl wins against itself.
Yeah.
Texas carrying the flag by beating Michigan. Everybody else, whoo, boy. Whew.
Yeah. Did you watch any of these lower tier ones? Like, did you watch the Duke's Mayo Bowl?
The Mayo Bowl? You know how I feel about Jake Dickard and Wake Forest.
Right. Okay, so you were tuned in on that one.
They have done a really good job in year one. Really good job.
They really have. But we're talking about the SEC right now.
Now Mississippi State should not have been in a bowl game anyway because they were 5-7.
That was it. That was
they were filling in for an opt out. Yeah.
And by the way, if I'm let's start there and let's give all the sympathy in the world to Ross's alma mater. I'm 5-7. My in-state rival's playing for a national championship. I lost the Egg Bowl to end the season. I was in so many close games this year. Right? Couldn't find a way to win these games. Jeff Lebby, by the way. That's who I am. I don't want to go deal with a bowl game. I don't want to have to go deal with this. No one in Starkville is gonna hail me a conquering hero if I beat Wake Forest in Charlotte in early January. Nobody cares. So think about all the things that Mississippi State needs right now. Mississippi State does not need a Duke's Mayo Bowl win. And that reflection of priority, I think, was felt. And I'm not excusing these losses. I'm not, because
you giant SEC homer.
That's me. If I'm an Iowa fan, I want to be clear. That was the best Vanderbilt product possible. Yeah, and you beat them.
You need to judge these games on their individual merits.
Yeah.
And Iowa, I will tell you right now that Iowa Vandy game, which similar to the Illinois South Carolina game last year between 2 very good teams from those conferences, should shape the way you look at the rankings next year.
Yes.
Because perhaps the Big Ten was better than you thought, and the SEC was not as good as you thought.
Okay.
Or the middle of the Big Ten. Obviously, the top of the Big Ten we thought was awesome. But
I want to have this conversation when Ross is back, and I want to use the playoff. I think the playoff is the means by which I agree with you.
Iowa pushed the 2 teams playing in the Peach Bowl, the 2 Big Ten teams playing in the Peach Bowl, one of which will be playing for the national title, one of which may win the national title.
Yeah.
Push them to their absolute limits.
Yes,
Iowa was a very good team.
I totally agree. I do believe now that this year, and again, scant amount of data, I keep saying this, we are leaning some sort of baked-in SEC bias, not to the top, maybe not to the to the upper middle class, and it's
the middle, yeah. And
we're paying it's paying out incorrectly because of the Alabama and Oklahoma results this year. I believe that. Mm-hmm. So the Big Ten has a case.
That's the thing. If and not just the Big Ten, if you're looking at that with a little more kind of doubtful eye toward the SEC,
yeah,
Notre Dame gets in over Alabama. Alabama's not 9.
Should have
after that. Yeah, Alabama is 11.
Yes,
Miami's 9 and Notre Dame's 10.
So okay, here's the deal. This bowl record can reflect a lot of different conversations. And so I want to be clear that I started with, hey, they don't care, or hey, they're busy and distracted. Yes, if you're 5-7 Mississippi State. I know for a fact Frank Wilson wanted to go out with a win for LSU and did not. They lost to a great team in Houston. By the way, it's so important and so satisfying if you're the University of Houston to beat LSU at anything. Those schools are probably share a proximity more than people realize if you're not from that part of the country.
Share recruiting proximity for sure. The Venn diagram of their recruiting territories is a big overlap.
So LSU's largest non-Louisiana alumni base is the city of Houston. And a lot of that has to do with Katrina, but it's very, very important. So Virginia, Missouri, we could talk about all these games individually. I'm not like kind of hand waving away these results. I think they definitely matter. It's a multitude of things. The deprioritization, I still didn't get it, of bowls for non-playoff teams has never been more apparent. Okay, so if I'm Missouri, I just don't care. Right? If I'm LSU in the middle of a major transition,
Virginia
I just don't
care either. But
Andy, huge but. I went on and did an hour of local radio here the morning after Tennessee lost the Music City Bowl. They needed to win that game, dude.
Oh, they cared.
They cared. There were that is the exception, okay? The idea of we lost Illinois because we're just distracted. Nah, dog. You needed to win that game. Trust me. There is some angst around that program. Now, there's always angst around Tennessee.
The feelings about Josh Heupel changed considerably for that fan base in that game.
Yes, yes, it did.
Yeah, so it does matter. And so don't let anybody tell you it doesn't matter. Like Ken Seals, bowl season mattered for Ken Seals, getting that start for the team he always grew up rooting for, TCU, and he was the backup. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, Godfrey, I didn't realize he was still playing college football. I thought he was out of eligibility because I remember him starting as a freshman at Vanderbilt. I thought his eligibility ended after last year. Was not aware he was still there. And then he's beating USC because Josh Hoover's in the portal. Yeah. Like it matters.
TJ
Finley for all these guys.
It's the TJ Finley. It's the Jeff Sims. It's the they're always, as far as I'm concerned, until proven otherwise, they're always playing somewhere. Much bigger and more important conversation that I was going to table is it's not just blaming the selection committee. I think we shoulder a little bit of this blame. But going into 2026, like I would start with, oh, well, you made the SEC championship, therefore you have to be in the playoff no matter what. Yeah. Like we could start there. I think we in the media should not say that anymore. We are wrong. Alabama should not have been in there. No team that anemic in the rush game is going to be successful. And then they got flat out
and we were talking about with the way they were ranking Notre Dame, we were talking about how they're clearly using Vegas-style power rankings. But Miami was the same thing. Like Miami, if you use the Vegas-style power rankings, Miami was favored over most of the teams in the bracket. And lo and behold, they're actually favored over Ole Miss by actual Vegas when they're playing in a semifinal. So maybe there was a reason for that. Maybe Vegas, which doesn't have a conference bias based on pride or anything else, it has a bias based on what will make us more money, which is the most honest kind of bias there is sometimes.
USA.
Yeah, they thought that Miami was better, Notre Dame was better than Alabama. They actually thought they were better than Oklahoma too. So maybe that's how it should be done. And I go back to my co-host Ari Wasserman at On3 did that mock selection one time. And this is when Bill Hancock was still running the college football playoff. And Ari brought up the idea is like, why don't you use more Vegas type metrics, more, power rankings like they used to set the line in with your other advanced stats? You could just combine them. And Bill Hancock called him a degenerate. So, but they were doing that this year. The committee was doing that more than the general public was.
It's about the purity of the student athlete experience.
The committee was clearly doing that this year and maybe needs to even incorporate it a little more.
I'm going to jump ahead of this because I know we're going to have more shows before these games are played. But we are on the cusp of yet another college football championship final, sans SEC. We need to, if I'm picking right now, I'm picking Miami and probably Indiana to play for the national championship.
Yeah, I'd say Miami Ole Miss is pretty much a coin flip. But yes,
but there's a chance here. Yeah. Also, Andy, there's a guarantee that the Big Ten will be playing for another national championship now.
Correct.
So the conversation.
It's time these SEC programs started taking football seriously, Paul.
I mean, in all seriousness, the people who should be angry right now are the Iowas, the Illinois, I just put an S on Illinois. I apologize. It's the 9-3. It's that 9-3 Big Ten team that ain't played nobody, but Alabama's.
The USC's? Except they lost to TCU?
I mean, maybe. I think about Illinois last year.
They would have had all their players in the playoff. So
I mean, I would think about I rarely do that. I screwed with Alabama fans a little bit by doing that last year where they lost the bowl game to Michigan, but obviously it was a very different team once you have opt-outs. I think the people that are upset and the people that need to make the most noise this offseason, here's what I'm learning about the Big Ten, and Ross, I think, would back me up if he was here. The Big Ten still fails to stand unified in their messaging and float all boats. There are the Crystal Palaces, right? There's the Crystal Palace of Oregon and Penn State and Ohio State and Michigan. And they don't really give two you-know-whats about the Illinois of the world or the Iowa of the world and the Wisconsin of the world. Those schools, I think, are suffering the most because the SEC's narrative is always, we're going to turn around and go, South Carolina was 9-3 last year. They deserve to be in. There's more of a rally to the ball positive narrative because of the SEC logo.
If Indiana wins the national championship, do you think the Big Ten comes around on that?
No, because I don't think the way the Big Ten is constructed. You taught me this. You taught me this when I started off as a national reporter.
You should never listen to me. Never listen.
Mike Slive was a grandfather gentleman and a gangster, and he ensured a certain equality, a certain socialism, if you will, inside that room, that we would always lock arms as a brand larger than any individual school. And I don't think the Big Ten in this current construction or its former construction has ever really thought that way. I don't think the ideology works the same way for a lot of non-football historical reasons with South and North. But if I'm Illinois, or if I'm this Iowa team that you mentioned is a great case study. If someone could go out and analyze all the coverage that we gave down the stretch before the final selection, I think the Big Ten is getting short shrift. I think the SEC is getting a benefit of a doubt that they have now proven they don't deserve in the new era of college football.
It is true. Now, the question is, will everybody remember that as we prognosticate for next season? Probably not. But I will remember it. And I think a lot of other people will. I think there's definitely a shift, because I have told myself multiple times during this playoff season, because Ole Miss and Indiana, I think, are really good examples of this. Last year's Ole Miss team was supposed to be the one, not this one.
Right.
Well, guess what? This one is a better team. The last year might have had individually better players if you asked an NFL scout, but this is a better team.
Are they the best team in the SEC?
Well, they are. They're the only one left playing.
So here's where I'm getting at. Georgia and Alabama played for the SEC championship. Ole Miss was out because of the tiebreaker sequence. Ohio State was out of the Big Ten championship last year. They were the best team in the tournament and won the tournament. Penn State and Oregon played. I keep getting stuck on this conference championship weekend. It is not only failing to yield the information we need, I think it's hindering the process overall.
Miami didn't play for the ACC championship. Yeah, exactly.
I think we're arriving at something here, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and the commissioners need to figure out what they want to do with it. Yeah. And look, I don't like Tony Petitti's idea of the ninth best Big Ten team automatically getting into the playoff. I'm exaggerating here. I know that's not his actual idea.
Right.
I do like his play-in idea. I think those games would be super fun.
I think they would be better. That's a step in the right direction to better reflect the quality in that moment.
I don't like the automatic bids that are required for the play-in to actually functionally work. I would prefer something that can't be done, because it would be like the old bracket busters in college basketball, where 2/3 of the way through the season, they'd be like, who do we need to see play head to head so we can figure out whether they should make it or whether they should get an at-large bid or not?
I'm scrolling to find the ninth best team, by the way.
That would be
Washington.
Spectacular.
It would have been Washington this year, 9-4.
There you go.
But again, I'm going to say this one last time. If you're Iowa, you're Illinois, you're Minnesota, Washington, Minnesota's 8-5, but like, these 9-win teams in the Big Ten don't get the benefit of the doubt that the 9-win teams in the SEC have. It's been reflected now 2 years in a row. We need to correct for this. I don't know if we will. I think we'll get distracted by all the shiny noises once the 26th season starts.
Yeah, who knows? It's a long off season. We'll try to keep the flame lit.